Welcome to the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast. Join us around the pit as we talk all things barbecue. Now here is your host, Johnny Maggs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast, coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. It's the podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. Oh, thank you all for tuning in. I am so excited. I've been like a little schoolgirl at Christmas time or the first dance and all that good stuff. Our guest tonight needs no introduction, but I've been trying to come up with a hell of a one. But we will get there. A true gentleman of barbecue, wealth of knowledge, willing to share all the time. And yeah, it's an honor to speak with this gentleman this evening. But before we do that, tonight's episode brought to you by Uncle Steve's Shake. What can I say, folks? Uncle Steve is an amazing, give you his shirt off his back guy. 18 amazing flavors from the original to the Gator Shake, the Comp Line, the Mi Amigo, Magic Ribs, Sweet Dessert Shake. The list goes on and on. He wears all the hats. He's mixing the shake. He's bottling, packaging, labeling, shipping. If you have a question, you can call the number up. He's the one answering the phone. Send an email. He's the one responding back to you. He actually might call you or send you an email if he has a question on your order. He wants you to be more than happy with what you're doing and always willing to work with you, have a conversation on working on your flavor profiles. So check him out at UncleStevesShake.com and follow along on Facebook at Uncle Steve's Shake Nation. Uncle Steve Shake, shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the Diamond of Roy City, Texas. Gabriel and his crew are phenomenal. The protein selection Gabriel has is beyond compare. You need a specific cut, thickness, anything you want, he's got you covered. You need a certain protein he might not carry, he'll work with you to get it in. Produce, fresh, brought in daily. For all us competition guys and backyard guys, he's got us covered too. Multiple lines of rubs, sauces, seasonings, injections, brines. Now carrying the Smoky Woods barbecue line of splits, chunks, chips, pellets, and the house blend of seasonings, the Joe's Meat Market line of seasonings. And while you're there, if you happen to, get a little hungry, he's got you covered too. Gabriel's mom's right behind the counter, whipping up some of the most freshest, authentic Mexican cuisine out there. Grab a plate, sit down with the boys, make a new lifetime friend, talking about our true passion of barbecue and live fire. Check them out, all social medias at Joe's Meat Market. And remember, folks, Joe's Meat Market for the win. Last and certainly not least, tonight brought to you by the Champions Barbecue Alliance. Big Dog Sauce Company and Matt's Backyard Barbecue present the New England CBA Triple Crown, bringing Texas and New England together for an ultimate barbecue showdown, a 3-state high-stakes competition across Vermont, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. Do you have what it takes to dominate the Champions Barbecue Alliance's 4-meat competition, chicken ribs, pork, and brisket, and claim the Triple Crown? How about showing your skills in some epic jackpots, including dessert, chef's choice, sausage, and steak? Calling all young pit masters, the Kids Q jackpots gives the next generation of barbecue legends a chance to show off their skills. Join the fiercest pit masters as they fire up the smokers, lay down the rubs, and showcase their best. 3 states, 3 epic showdowns, 1 champion. These sponsors are bringing the heat with prizes including a guaranteed $10,000 payout for the Vermont competition and some unique trophies. Whether you're competing or coming to judge, don't miss this barbecue lovers paradise. All right, let's see who we have in here. First in was my brother from Tennessee, Mr. Ken Smith. What's up, brother? Then we got Bat. What's happening? Daddy Dutch, Judge Wep. What's going on? NBL. What's happening? Chris. What's up, brother? Matt Pereira. Had a long day. Happy Place Barbecue. What's happening? Tim Rogers of Up to Barbecue. What's going on? Carlos Calzada. What's up, brother? Won't be long now. There's Uncle Steve, Wes Phillips, Chris Rosinski. What's happening? Dave LeConte, Big D. What's going on? Billy Holland. What's happening? Ooh, man, you guys are coming out this evening. Brother Steven coming to us live from Trinidad and Tobago. Papa, Texas. Nigel tuning in from across the pond. Oh, guys. All right, let's get to it. Let's see. Like I said earlier, the man needs no introduction. He's a barbecue legend, YouTube personality, multiple podcaster, competition cook, business owner. So much, so little time to explain it all. But let's get to it with the man, the myth, the legend, a global icon, a national treasure, an honorary Kentucky colonel, which not many can say that. But guys, you know who I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Malcom Reed. Malcolm, what's up, brother?
What's happening, man? I love that. That's the best introduction I've ever had, man. You got me pumped up.
All right, let's go. Woohoo!
What's
Absolutely. Happening? Oh, nothing, brother. First off, like I said, thank you so much for taking the time. This is truly an honor to talk with you this evening. It's been a long time coming, and we had your schedule before, and you had some business stuff come up, which I believe was on the hunting side, if Tyler said it right. So hey, no problem. We can easily reschedule. But thank you so much for joining me, and we're going to hopefully have a good time for ourselves this evening.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for the invite. I'm glad we finally got to sit down and do it, man. I'm excited. Let's talk some barbecue tonight.
Let's go. I did ask some in the Facebook side. I asked a few things of guys if they had any questions. So let's get right into those from the Facebook side. Is asking when is Malcolm going to switch to the Smoky Woods barbecue products? Have you ever tried his product line of woods?
I don't think so. That's not something I've seen around here. I need to check them out.
Yeah, they're incredible. He's gone with everything's extremely uniform, especially with the chip, the splits and the chunks. So you're not going to get a big one, a small one. You're always going to have that consistent burn, and you can judge your temperatures right because of the size of the splits. Great product line. Brad and Miranda Belt are asking, what is your favorite dessert to make?
Oh man, this one gets me in a lot of trouble because people love it, but then they hate it when they find out how many calories it is. It's a white chocolate bread pudding with the bourbon sauce that I make to go over it, and I do it on the pit, and it's a knock your socks off dessert. It's
that's
rich,
absolutely.
It's sinful. I mean, it's sweet, it's savory, it's got all the elements, and you need a nap after you eat a big bowl of it.
Oh, I love it. I actually did make it once from the recipe that you gave out. And yeah, it is decadent to say the least. But yeah. Oh, and there's a second part. Would you ever try a smoked banana meringue pudding?
Hey, I'll try anything. I'm not that now. Bacon is not my forte. I attempted in a lot of stuff, and a lot of times it's just for fun. And my wife can outbake me any day, but I like trying to see what I can do on the pit, and that's what kind of intrigues me. Can I take these desserts that people make, and can I incorporate into where we can cook it outside? So that was something that I could see trying to do it. I might have to use a little torch or something to help get that meringue to get that toasty color on top. That's hard to do on a pit, but with the little handheld torch, you could probably get it to look pretty good.
No, absolutely. And speaking of torches, my cousin Billy Brogna is asking, where did you get the torch now you light your pits with?
So I got that from Royal Oak, and it's a product they sell. You can get them. I don't know if you have Tractor Supplies up in the Northeast.
Yep.
But you can order them online, and it's called a Flame Saber. That's the name of it. I think they run about $24, something like that. I have seen them on the shelves at Tractor Supply locally, but I know you can find them online too.
All right. Then Guy Chisholm is asking, do you have a killer hot dog recipe?
Well, I'm trying to think, I've got a bunch of them that I've done on, hot dogs that's one of my favorite things about summertime is a hot dog. But my favorite one, I start with the Nathan's Colossals. They're those quarter-pound hot dogs. It's a man's hot dog. This isn't some little Frank, this is a man's dog. But, Chicago dog's one of my favorite ones. I love a good chili cheese dog. I've done a barbecue dog where I top it it's kind of like barbecue nachos, where you take the dog and you smoke it, glaze it up with some barbecue sauce, top it with some pulled pork, drizzle some nacho cheese on it, top it with some jalapenos. Oh, that's a heck of a dog, man.
Oh, heck yeah. Now they've already started in the chat. So actually this was a great line of videos you had recently. Malcolm, was Alonzo a good student? And he's speaking of Alonzo Cantu from Gulf Coast Smoke.
Alonzo's awesome, man. He's an up and comer. He's I kind of met him through social media. He showed up at World Foods one year. We were down in Mobile, Alabama when it was actually Gulf Shores, Alabama. World Foods was there, and I was cooking in it one year, and I met him, and he just he just has that passion about barbecue. He was new on the comp scene, but since then, man, he's come on. He started doing more comps, winning. He started a podcast up with his wife. He's got a heck of a social channel. So, and he can flat cook, man. He's Texas through and through.
Oh, absolutely.
When he came up and did those beef ribs for me, man, it was some of the best beef ribs I've ever ate. I loved them.
Oh, yeah. They looked fantastic. They're fantastic. Then Billy Holland. Hello, Malcolm. Love your products.
Thanks, Billy.
Okay. This is an interesting one. My man, Big D, Dave LeConte, what is your favorite killer hog rub out of the line?
Do you know the one I use the most is probably AP because we use it every day. It's a staple in our pantry, no matter what. I mean, not just barbecue. I use more of it than anything. You can only use a barbecue rub so many times, cooking stuff, but that AP is universal, man. Everybody knows salt, pepper, garlic. That goes in everything.
Yeah. Oh, hands down. Carlos Calzada of Smoking Los. Are you coming to Texas to cook at a comp? We would love to see you.
Hey, Carlos. Man, I'm going to be over, I think it's Hondo, which is outside of San Antonio a little bit, but it's not, I think they're doing some form of a comp. I won't be cooking a comp, but it's Al Fragoni's open fire, live fire cooking event. And I'm probably not saying the name of the event right because I just found out about it Al invited me out to do some social stuff and to do some judging and things like that. But I'm definitely going to be there for 3 days. It's in November, I think around November 8th. But if you'll go check out my buddy Al's social pages, Al Fragoni, he does the chimichurri seasonings. He's if you haven't seen his open fire cooking, man, he's awesome. But
Yeah,
I'm going to be in Texas in November.
Is that the open fire meetup? I believe it is.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. The open fire meetup. It's going to be really cool, man. There's a contest side to it, but it also has more of a open fire exhibition side for anybody that's interested in like open live fire cooking to come out and see how it's done and to meet all the people that's doing it. I mean, and it's going to be all the people you see on social media are going to be there. There's a ton of great cooks. A lot of competitors are going to be there. It's just going to be a barbecue outdoor lifestyle type event.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, like you said, Malcolm, you've been a true inspiration to all of us. Myself, more than I can explain. Your video, when I first got into barbecue, really, I suppose hardcore back in 18, you were one of the first guys I would watch, and we're talking back in the Yellow Kitchen days, sir.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
But anytime my wife would find something at the butcher shop or the grocery store, she'd just get it and go, "Here, cook this." What is it? I don't know. And I'd look at it and I'd go to your page and, sure enough, there was a recipe for it. And, your way of showing the process of cooking, the simple rest, and, just the fun of it, it just comes across so personal, informative. You got the wonderful mix of the entertainment factor and the teaching. So you've got it nailed, brother. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Well, you're welcome, man. That's not 100% on purpose, man. That was just when my wife convinced me that I needed to start filming some of this stuff. I had no experience on this side of a camera, man. I didn't know, I was real nervous about it, but she kind of told me just to be myself and to act like my friends are on the other side there and I'm talking to them. So I took that approach, and that's how I've always stuck with it. I mean, it's the stuff I do is not overly complicated. I'm not a trained chef or anything like that. I just love it. I just love cooking outside. And that was the way for me to get it across, was just to, hey man, I'm talking to my buddies. If you're watching me do it, it's like you're out there with me, and it calms me down, and it just lets me have a good time. And it is. It's a lot like sitting out there and cooking for your friends.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Rick, what's happening, brother? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, between the video, and I have, we could go right down the line. We've been through, all the interviews of coming up and doing it. What is, I suppose, your big, most closest to your heart accomplishment when it comes to the barbecue world? And of course, yours is so multi-tiered, between competitions, backyard, podcasting, classes, things like that.
It's hard to say because I came up in the competition world. So those days when we were, when I was going hot and heavy, and we were lucky enough to get some big calls and to win some contests, those always mean a lot. I mean, just getting to walk on the stage at Memphis in May, getting to walk on the stage at Jack Daniels. I mean, those are just things that I'll always remember. Yeah. When I think of barbecuing, but I mean, some of those best times are just times when I cooked a hog with my buddies, and we just, we had an epic hog. It turned out like you couldn't cook it any better. It's one of those times, and it's like, man, that was such a good time as we hung out. We had some cold beers, we told stories, and then we enjoyed the food. I mean, it's hard to compare, getting a trophy versus experience. So I'm all about the experience too. So there's been so many, it's hard to pick out one.
Yeah, for sure. And, especially with the cooking community in general now, you've become a household name, and was that weird of, people recognizing you, I suppose, outside of the barbecue world? I know for the prime example was was it this past weekend or definitely this week on your How to BBQ Right community page on Facebook, someone had screenshotted their TV screen with you at the Mississippi State baseball game.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
It's so weird, man. It's so weird when somebody comes. But you know what? I'm very, very humbled and, and thrilled that I get that opportunity. And I've always like, man, if you come up and say, hey, I've seen, I know you, I recognize you from somewhere. Where is it? Oh, I go into talking. I go into thanking people for watching the videos and ask them what they're barbecuing because, I mean, to me, that's just special that people would. I never dreamed that somebody would, follow my videos or my recipes or anything like that. So it's real humbling to have people stop you and say, that meant a lot to me, or you taught me how to cook brisket, or I amazed my people that I work with over the barbecue that I cook because of one of your recipes. Yeah. And I mean, and it just goes to show you, man, barbecue brings people together. People really watch it, and it is worldwide.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's Ken Smith, Grillin' 615. Years ago, I met Malcolm at his barbecue class at Memphis Barbecue Supplies. Great guy and learned so much. Changed my barbecue life for sure.
Thank you.
So you've definitely left an imprint on a lot of us cooks. And Nigel from our friend over in the UK, would Malcolm consider opening a barbecue restaurant and become a chain?
Oh man, I've always said the restaurant, that's a whole nother animal, man. When you decide you're going to jump into that, you got to have, both feet and both arms in the fire the whole time. You're tied to it. If I didn't have to make money, I would probably I would do it. But I know how hard it is. I know how hard, and every the bottom line is you got to make money to survive doing it, and that's just something that I hadn't tackled yet. I mean, I might consider it one day when I don't need, in my retirement days, if I could just cook barbecue and people would come hang out and I get to feed them, I would love to do that. But having to do it for, 80 hours a week, that's a whole different story. I'm a little old, man. These hairs are getting gray. I'm thinking about just relaxing and cooking barbecue for fun, not to have to make money doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Happy Place Barbecue, your barbecue baked potato with pulled pork is a crowd favorite out here. That's a badass recipe. Brother Rick Galindo, Rick's Barbecue and Specialties. Does Malcolm really like chicharrones alone with guacamole or tacos?
Oh, I love chicharrones. I mean, it's fried pork skin. How can you not?
What's not to like?
Yeah, what's not to like? Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I tell you how they're good. Just plain with a little hot sauce. Just get some hot sauce and shake right over them. Oh, they're so good.
Oh, absolutely. Well, hot sauce is a great segment. For years you've had, your seasoning line and your sauce line, the barbecue rub, the hot barbecue rub, the AP steak, the TX brisket rub, your original hot sauce, which is one of my all-time favorites, just full of flavor with that little bit of a kick. Mm-hmm. It's not going to blow you away, but it's there. But the flavor is definitely in the forefront. Then, of course, your barbecue sauce and your vinegar sauce. Since then, you came up with a Mississippi white sauce. Oh, yes. The Grande Gringo, which is fantastic. The King Craw and the Jam and Jerk. All of those were amazing. Then you really jumped on me. We got the bird brine, the bona fide chili, your country sausage seasoning, original and spicy, the Italian stallion, the Gyro Hero, which is a jalapeno Greek, and then on the hot sauce, you got Burn 'em Down and Fire Island.
I love fire.
Tell me about the Fire Island first.
So those those two hot sauces, people said my hot sauce wasn't hot enough, and it's not. It's an eating hot sauce.
Yeah.
And so, if you've been watching us for a while, you'll know Rochelle and I usually take a Caribbean trip every February. It's kind of like we've been working hard all year. It's a slow time for barbecue. We're sick of the winter. We want some sunshine. So we started, like, when we got married, I took her to Jamaica for our honeymoon. That was our first trip down there, first time either one of us, I think, had ever left the country, and we fell in love with it. So we started going back when we were able to afford it. It took 10 more years for us to get back, but then ever since then, we've been getting to go every year, every other year. And I just fell in love with those Caribbean flavors, the food they have in Jamaica, and the way they use the Scotch bonnet pepper to make their hot sauces. That's what I was going for. So I wanted to make a Caribbean or Jamaican style hot sauce that I felt like, paid some homage to those flavors. And that's what I came up with, my Island Fire. And it's pretty spicy. Now, the Burn 'em Down was one that I said, well, I'm going to take some of these hot peppers and make a sauce that I think's it's plenty hot for me, like too hot. But most people still say, chili heads say, oh, this isn't hot. You're still not up there. But for me, it's pretty daggum hot. But that's my Burn 'em Down. So one of them's like my extreme hot, and then the other one's kind of like if you've ever had a Scotch bonnet pepper sauce from like the Caribbean area. That's what the flavors of that is. So it has a sweeter. You taste the fruit. That habanero, that Scotch bonnet style pepper. It has a real fruity type pepper. Now it's got intense heat, but it burns out pretty quick too. So it's like a hit you with front heat and then mellow out, and you taste all the flavors in it, and it's really good.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, there's Brad. Brad is asking favorite dessert, and would you ever try the smoked banana meringue pudding? Brad, we got everyone's questions right out because they've been coming in flying hot and heavy. But it is the white chocolate bread pudding with bourbon sauce.
Got to have that bourbon sauce. Got to.
And smoking banana meringue pudding, the answer was yes, please.
Yes, please. Absolutely, yes. We could figure that out.
Here's we got our friend Steve Ray. Malcolm, what's your favorite barbecue store in Ottawa, Tennessee?
Well, I've never been to it, but I bet it's Steve's store. The old Owl's Nest. Yes, sir.
That is for sure. For sure.
Good to hear from you, Steve. Hey, he's got a great podcast too. Y'all should check that out.
Oh, Steve was one of the very first guys to reach out to me when I first started the show going 7 years ago now, and he's been a dear friend. And okay, we'll go with this. And as everybody knows, my wife surprised me back in 22 with a custom pit for my birthday. So we were driving down to Austin, Texas to pick it up. So I broke out the map and went, oh, it's bringing me through Tennessee. I get to stop and see and finally meet in person Steve. So that was our first stop. And he was so gracious, and, we were cooking smash burgers for lunch, great line of products in the store, and more importantly, just such a great friend and great person. That is the Owl's Nest Barbecue and Pro Shop in Ottawa, Tennessee, located in Steve's Midnight Oil. Stop there, get some rubs, injections, and fill up the car while you're there. You can't go wrong. So on our way from there to Houston, we decided we're going to spend a night somewhere, and I decided, and Malcolm, you might know this town, little town in Mississippi called Hernando.
I'm very familiar with it.
Yep. And I took the opportunity, obviously, stayed there so I could come and check out your shop. And we, at the time, you and Tyler, I believe, were out in LA.
Oh, yeah.
For the YouTube conference.
Vid Summit. Yeah, so we were at Vid Summit.
Vid Summit. But I walked in and I was greeted with, hey, y'all, from good old Mikey. And and then Mark Williams, obviously, he's been on the show a few times. We've had some great conversations, and we were shooting the breeze and everything. And I swear, once I got that pit after talking with Mark and Mikey, I was ready just to go camp out in Galax and wait for Mark there, But your store, how many years have you been open? It's a couple anyway, right?
Yeah. I would say we've been open with the storefront. This will be our 4th year. We started, Shell and I started out in the garage of our house, the kitchen days. And then we kind of, we progressed. We had to get out of the house, so we rented a place, and I had the opportunity I was paying as much as for rent for a little shack. When this building come up, I was like, I don't know if I want to go in debt, but the note will be about the same as my rent. So if it doesn't work, maybe I can sell the building or do something else.
Yeah.
But anyway, we decided, and this building just happened to have it was a meeting room up front and then kind of a reception area. And I was like, well, we don't have meetings like that, or, we don't need a receptionist. Why don't we turn it into a little barbecue shop? Never had intentions on having a physical store, but the ideas just kind of came together, and it worked out, and people love it. Turns out people travel from all over, just like, you mentioned, if they're coming through the Memphis area, they'll swing down to Hernando and pop in. And so it's kind of became a little destination, and it's not a big shop, it's not a ton of square foot, but we have a lot of the stuff that I cook with and my buddies cook with and things like that. So it's kind of like a little place for guys that like grilling, or gals. We've got a little bit of stuff for everybody, but it's been fun running it, and I'm not there all the time because I'm usually out doing, out making videos and doing other stuff. But when I'm there, if you give me a heads up that you're coming through, I always try to meet people. I do. I really like to shake hands and tell people thank you and just put a name with a face, because, we answer a lot of emails, a lot of questions, but you don't really get to know the people. So it's fun just talking.
Oh, absolutely. And I absolutely love this store. It's set up wonderfully. The way you guys visualized in the different racks, and there's a lot of items in there, but it's not cluttered. You're not looking at a specific space and going overwhelmed because there's 8,000 things. It's very well spaced around, and you got at the time you had one of the outlaw competition pits on wheels. I actually was able to pick up my my chicken trays, my chicken pans while I was there for my comps. I'm like, oh, I don't got to track them down there, right here. And everything else, obviously your seasonings, couple other different types of season that you carry, Heath, Meat Church at the time, and then a couple big checks.
Yeah, that those in there.
Couple of those, and the trophies, and of course we were just talking about Galax, and there was a few fiddles on the wall, and but nice merchandise area, I might add.
Yeah, I like that hat.
yeah. I know where you can get one. But yeah, great store. And you actually, if I'm not mistaken, you've actually turned that into everything now. The storefront, the warehouse, and your podcast studios.
That's right.
Correct?
Yep. We actually have a classroom in there where we host some events. We've done classes there. We've done a comedy show in there. We've done all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and then we have, so in our parking lot, we've been doing 4 or 5 a year, kind of like these little different barbecue contests. They're not really barbecue. Like the last one we did was a taco contest.
Yes.
Taco. Yes. And then we do a chili contest, and then we do a hot dog contest, and a burger contest, a wing contest. But really, it's more geared towards the local community, giving back, doing something for the guys that may be overwhelmed by going and cooking a KCBS or an MBN type cook. They don't want to jump in, but they might have a good taco recipe or a good chili recipe. And so it's getting people into the idea of food sport, or or competing in food can be fun. That's the kind of the atmosphere we're trying to go for when we do those.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you usually have those on like a Saturday,
Yep.
like a 20 team limit, and
Yep.
nothing crazy. And like you said, burgers, tacos, the margaritas got to be fun.
Oh, the margaritas were flowing at that one. Yeah, that was. I didn't judge the tacos, but I stepped in to judge the margarita, and I had some good ones.
Aha, there we go. Oh, Nigel, you were going to start something here all the way from across the pond, but we'll do it. Oh, shoot. Does Malcolm have beans in his chili?
Yes, I'm a beans guy. I
Yeah.
like beans. I'm not ashamed of it. I like beans in my chili. I think it belongs. Now, there's nothing wrong with a bowl of Texas Red, original style. I've done those. They're excellent. But for me, I want some beans in mine.
Absolutely. And Dave is asking about the barbecue school. Please, more info on that. Is that a regular thing you guys do, like maybe once or twice a year, or?
Yeah, we don't really we don't have anything on the schedule now, other than I know I have one coming up for it's like a men's church group that we're doing.
Okay.
But if you just keep an eye out, the store actually has a Facebook page. It's Malcolm Shop on Facebook. So if you follow that, whenever we have any kind of events going up, it'll be posted on there. And we don't bombard you with stuff. I mean, if we do something, it's because that's what we're really doing. So, that's a good place to kind of keep an eye out what we have going on. I'm sure there'll be something coming up in the works. I know Mark just hosted a NBA judging class there. They had a couple teams come in and they got people certified to go out and judge. So we do stuff like that too. So there's always something cool going on.
Nice. And Daddy Dutch had one. Where is it? Mags, there it is. If I missed it, I apologize. How many contests is Malcolm cooking this year?
That's an easy one. I'm not cooking any. I've been judging, and I've been hosting them at the shop, and I've got a couple more that we got to host, that are kind of out and I'm doing stuff with. But I'm not on the competition side as much anymore. I'm more on the organizing and the judging side of things now. So.
Now, speaking of judging, and I've been dying to ask this question. You guys had the opportunity last year. I want to say maybe it was Arkansas, but you guys went and were judges at the World Squirrel Cook-Off.
Oh, yeah. 2 years in a row I've done it.
2 years. Now, is it good?
I'm going to tell you.
To be. There's got to be some cooks that do it crazy.
I went in the very first year I did it, which was 2 years ago, thinking that I'm fixing to get a lot of like squirrel and gravy, squirrel and dumplings, old school recipes that I grew up eating being from the country. But let me tell you, the level of dishes that we had with squirrel was amazing. Amazing. I mean, I had, the one that won for me, it was like the best piece of melt in your mouth fried squirrel. You wouldn't even know it was squirrel, with a squirrel homemade hand pie with a Tupelo honey drizzled over it. And then I had another one that was like a squirrel pizza. We had squirrel egg rolls. We had have you ever seen the pineapple that they hollow out? And they do it like with the sweet and sour rice, and it's They did that with squirrel. That was amazing. I mean, the stuff was over the top, man. It was incredible, and I don't know how many teams they had. I want to say there was probably close to 40, 45 maybe teams coming from all over. This isn't just Arkansas. There was teams from all over the country that came to cook squirrel. As far as I know, it's the only official squirrel cook-off that I know of. And so if you're in that part of Arkansas in the fall, man, that's one that you need to put on your list to go see because it's cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool to check out for sure. But whenever you had said that on your show, it's like, oh, really? Okay. I think I could get into that. Then Guggen Barbecue is asking, if you're cooking without filming a video, what pit do you choose to use more than the others?
It's probably the one I fired up yesterday just to cook dinner on. My trusty old 22-inch Weber kettle. I could do more with that little grill, man. That's that's the one I learned to cook on.
That's it. It always comes back to the trusty Weber kettle. Absolutely. Yeah. And, because you have an array of cookers for, between the different videos and everything you've we've all have our own collection.
Yeah.
But you had just recently in the past year finished the new smokehouse. Correct. Which looks fantastic, by the way. I am jealous. But what do you actually have in there for grills and smokers?
So I've got a griller pellet grill, the Silverback. I've got my Big Outlaw. I've got the Grilla Mammoth sitting beside it. I've got my Gateway drum. I've got Primo XL. I've got a Primo XXL. I've got a Weber kettle. I've got Members Mark gas grill that I did a rib video on last year. They sent me to try, and I just I can't bring myself to get rid of it. I've got Blackstone. I've got another Weber flat top. I've got my Crank It Up Santa Maria style grill out there. There's a PK grill. There's a Traeger, I think it's the 750 Timberline, the original Timberline, the smaller original. Yeah, I think it's a 750. I think it's what it is. And let's see. I've got, you don't see this one, but Miss Fancy's out there in the shop covered up. That's my, it's kind of like a pull behind Outlaw that's all slicked up, painted kind of cherry red. It's just a beautiful pit. And let's see. I think that's about it. That's right out there by the smokehouse. That's just at the. There's another a pellet grill over there, and there's a couple deep fryers, and there's a right outside the door. There's one of the Brio fire pits that I cook on.
Oh, nice.
I've got a problem, man. Some people say I got a problem, but I love all my grills.
There is no problem there at all. Brother Steven is asking, do you still have the Kong?
Yes and no. I had a buddy that was interested in one, and he wanted to cook on it. So I said, hey, man, it's over here in my garage. Come over, bring the trailer. I will push it up on there, and you take it to your house. Well, I haven't got it back. So Uncle Pookie has it. I still know where it's at.
Absolutely. One of your other season, we got kind of jumping around back and forth, but between the questions, but I apologize for that. But like I said, I warned you, there's no real structure here.
Yeah. Oh, we're good.
We're just hanging, talking. Your Euro hero, the jalapeno Greek seasoning. And if that just sounds delicious. I haven't tried it yet. And here comes one. Oh, Miss Maggie. Down, honey. Down, sweetheart. Oh, goodness. Never a dull moment.
I've got two running around here. I'm surprised that my lab hasn't jumped up here yet.
Yeah. The Euro hero, man. That is, how do you best describe it?
So I don't know if you have it in the Northeast, but we grew up with the seasoning around here in our area called Cavender's, and it was made over in Arkansas. It's a Greek seasoning, and it was pretty much great on everything. Well, I was thinking, I was like, how can I make a seasoning that is as good as Cavender's, but give it some spice, something that you don't see in a lot of Greek food? And so I was like, jalapeno would go with it. So I started playing with it a little bit, and it just turned into the Euro hero. And then I was like, well, I don't have any Greek names. I was brainstorming, trying to come up with something, and I like Euros. And I was like, well, what's more Greek than a Euro? So I was like, we'll call it Euro hero. Trying to be, it was just a kind of a funny name,
Yeah. And with talking to Euro hero, It was used in a recent video, which I am happy to say I am officially the second person to talk about this, because you and Michelle talked about it on your show on Friday.
Yes.
You
I know where this is going.
you finally gave it to us. You've been promising
I
us
did.
for a while, but Kevin from the butcher shop in Pensacola had sent you camel.
He sent me a camel, a whole camel tenderloin.
Yeah.
And it was packaged up. It was froze when I got it. I was like, "What is it? Thanks, Kevin. What's this?" He was like, "I thought you might want to try it. Try this sometime." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll try it." And it got to be a joke. I think Tyler brought it up, and Rochelle would bring it up on the podcast. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it one of these days." And it was just, I don't know, just something about cooking a camel. It wasn't on my top priority list to eat camel, but I finally broke down and did it. It had probably been in the freezer for, I don't know, probably close to 9 months. It had been a long time, and I didn't know what kind of shape it was going to be in. But it didn't look too good in the pack. It was one of those things. It didn't really look good going in the freezer. So I thawed it out. Slow thawed it out in the refrigerator, and we, decided I was going to cook it. And I told Rochelle and Tyler that's what we were filming this week. And we brought it out, and I got it out of the package, and they wanted to catch all my reaction to it. It wasn't nothing fake about it. That was my reaction, seeing this thing for the first time. And I was like, well, it looks a lot like a backstrap off a deer or a beef tenderloin. Very, very similar. Once I got it trimmed up a little bit, and I didn't, there's not a lot of fat on it for one. I guess camels aren't really marbled up. They're not like a cow that's been grazing out in the big grassy field all its life. And so I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting something gamey, honestly. I was expecting a gamey meat that wasn't going to be pretty tough. It was the absolute opposite of it. It tasted, I don't know if you could tell the difference in flavor in that camel tenderloin and a beef tenderloin as far as just flat flavor goes. I didn't do a whole lot to it. I sweated it with some salt, started drawing some moisture out. Seasoned it with a little bit of my Euro Hero and a little bit of Al's chimichurri seasoning. That's all I put on it. Real simple. Nothing really overpowering. I didn't go heavy. And then I just put it on a neutral pellet grill. I wasn't trying to, get too much smoke or too much fire on it because I wanted to taste it. I wanted to give it a fair shake. And then when I cut into it, I took it to about, I think it was like 130-ish, right in that area, 128, 130. Let it carry over a little bit on the board. Let it rest. Started slicing into it, and it was soft like butter. I was like, oh, man, hold on. This is not – I don't know if my knife was just extra sharp that day, but I was expecting to have a saw on it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it was going to be tough. And this thing the texture of it was velvety smooth. It was way softer than beef tenderloin. The mouthfeel of it. It was just almost melt in your mouth. I don't know if it's because if camels naturally like that, if it was because it had been in the freezer, it was pleasantly good. Like I would say I would definitely eat camel again. Now the only drawback was that I saw the price tag on that thing, man. It was like $124 for a camel tenderloin. I mean, that ain't cheap meat at all. That's way, that's up there in some Wagyu price. So
exactly.
But it was good. It was good. And, I was taken back from it. And I'm going to be a little more adventurous now. I'm slowly convincing myself to get out that box and try some of this stuff. Don't go in with a preconceived notion that it's going to be bad because you'll be surprised sometime.
No, you never know. If Kevin was to hear this, who knows what he has up his sleeve down there.
I know. Well, I hope he doesn't listen to, Greg's been trying to get me to do horse. He's on like Team Eat Horse. I don't know about that, man.
No,
I don't know about that.
I'll watch him run.
Yeah.
I'll have a mint julep and a good old time and a couple,
exactly.
win, place, and show bets. But as far as on a plate,
I don't know, man. I'd have to be really, really hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Place is asking, what is your favorite non-traditional meal to cook outside for your family and friends?
Fried rice on a Blackstone. We do it. We do a lot, and it feeds a lot of people. Man, it's a lot of fun. Besides the fried rice, I must say, because I cooked it Saturday, is a big pot of crawfish. I don't know if y'all eat a lot of crawfish up there, but man, down here in the South, we love them. They're mud bugs, man. That's
Yep.
some good eating.
Nice. Oh, Steven, thank you. There's the folks there right in the chat is the link to the camel tenderloin video, which check out. It was fantastic. Then okay, Daddy Dutch is going. Has Malcolm ever tried kangaroo or any other exotic foods? I can't eat kangaroo. It makes me jumpy. Oh, Dutch.
So there's a local contest every year that some friends of mine host out at their farm, and they do an exotic category every year. This year it was kangaroo. You don't know what it is going into the contest, and so I went out and judged the contest that day, but I always swing by there and hang out that afternoon. So they were getting ready to turn in the kangaroo when I got there, and it was okay. I wouldn't say I would go out of my way to eat it again. It wasn't that it had a slight gamey flavor, but the texture of it, I just wasn't crazy about it. It kind of had the appearance of what a hanger steak looks like, the pieces they had. It was, I don't know if it was small tenderloins or pieces of the back strap or how they gave it to them, but that's what it looked like. But the texture was really, really firm, a little stringy. And once it got cold, it wasn't a good mouthfeel at all. When it was warm, it was okay. But once that stuff cooled, and this was in February when they had it. So it was kind of, cold outside fast. And I wasn't a fan of the kangaroo.
Yeah. Dave, it was the camel tenderloin or like a deer back strap. And you can get it at the butcher shop in Pensacola. When we get off, Dave, give me a call and I'll give you all. I got Kevin's address and information around here somewhere. But
you just call them. They're old school, man. They don't have a website. You just call them and tell them what you want, and they'll send it right to you.
Oh, absolutely. Where was it? No, I think we caught up on the boys there. So, like you said, you've expanded the seasonings, and I can't wait to try the new ones. I just haven't had the opportunity yet, but there was you've never steered me wrong. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you one of everything on the line, Johnny. Then I'm going to let you do a little lucky listener contest where they could get, one lucky listener is going to get the same thing. So you'll just have to give me the two addresses where I need to ship the stuff, but I'll let you figure out how you want to pick who gets that tonight. But we'll spread the love a little bit.
Thank you, brother. And like I said, you've always steered me in the right direction. And when I got into this, my first Christmas, my wife went happy on your app. And I got everything under the sun, including one of my favorite sauces / glazes of all time, Captain Rodney's Peach Bouquet. Man, that was phenomenal.
That's an old secret rib glaze right there. We would put that in the wrap. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always, whenever I can find some, or I always grab it. I'm like, and people are always asking, "What is this?" I go, "It's fantastic." How did you find it? I go, Malcom Reed. I go, he would use it to glaze this, and it was on his site, and Mrs. Maggs got a whole bunch of stuff from the site for Christmas, and that was one of them, and I absolutely loved it. What were some of the other things? Oh, while I was down at the shop, talking with Mark and Mikey, we were about to head out, and we started getting hungry. And I go, Mark, tell me how to get to La Siesta. He goes, oh, they're open. He goes, head out here. Man, you
That's
ain't
my local watering hole.
lying, brother. Incredible food.
Yes.
Incredible.
Hernando has no shortage of Mexican restaurants. I think we've got 7 now. And La Siesta is the top one in my book. And the food they do is phenomenal. I mean, it's I'm a big enchiladas tapatillas guy. That's one of my favorites. There's been several of their dishes that they have that I've actually tried to duplicate, and I hope I did them justice. But it's the pollo tapatillas, man. That's one of the best ones they have, and they've got so many good dishes there.
Yep. So we ate in 2 establishments in Hernando. One was La Siesta, and I got a giant to go order because we were still heading down. Had to make it to Texas, but so I had that, and I got tacos. I got this. No, we kind of want breakfast. Are you kidding me? We got beautiful fresh tacos and burritos and every other dishes, whatever they could put in a to-go container. And you want breakfast. So we had La Siesta and the Waffle House.
Oh, the Wahoo, the trusty Wahoo.
Yep.
It gets better. It's better when the sun's down to me. I'm a nighttime Waffle House guy. That's when the crowd gets livelier. You never know what you're going to see at the Wahoo.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, since we are on the podcast, your podcast that you do with Miss Shell every week, and it's been a while now, right? 7, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, I've lost track of the seasons of it. We started it way before COVID, and we started that one in a closet in our house here at home.
Yeah.
And we've kind of progressed through the years. If you've seen this, the first couple seasons were audio only. We didn't even do video. And then we started doing video of it and putting that on YouTube and taking out clips of it, and that one's been a lot of fun. That's kind of mine and Shell's time just to kind of decompress everything we've done in the week. We talk about it, the ups, the downs, what's going on in barbecue to us, and just it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's not really structured. We don't, we just talk about what we want to talk about. We've had a few guests on, but most of the time it's me and her and Tyler running the board, and we just go in there and sit down for an hour and have fun talking about barbecue, stuff that we love.
Nice. Yeah. Like I said, it's a must. It's a weekly listen must on my podcast playlist. And, so informative because you talk about recipes of the week, your latest videos, things like that. And, you do a wonderful job with it. And, you get some incredible guests from time to time. But, listening to you and Michelle, just like you said, just having a conversation. And, it's awesome. And, so thank you for doing that. And keep it coming. As always, led to another podcast. Like you don't have enough to do.
Right.
But this one is my guilty little pleasure of the boys being the boys, called the Buck Junkies.
Yeah. See, that's just my buddies that we hunt with, man. That's all it is. We're not pros. We don't claim to be. We've got a little piece of land that we're taking care of, managing, and we just love hunting deer and everything else that's on the, everything else that goes along with it.
I just got a text message from Daddy Dutch on a trivia question for the product line. So let's throw this out because obviously, Daddy Dutch, you're not eligible because you were smart enough and you gave the answer. All right, folks, for Malcolm's product line gift pack. What is Malcolm's most viewed video?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I just lost the answer. Some bitch. Hold on.
I'm trying to think if I knew. I got a good
Let me
idea.
write it down. I'm trying not to move my lips as I'm trying to write and read at the same time. I don't want to give it away.
Are we talking on YouTube or on TikTok?
I'm assuming YouTube. Okay, and there it is. It has 13 million views. Boom. Papa, Texas. You got the tomahawk ribeye steak.
That's what I would have guessed.
Yep. That was it. Papa, congratulations, brother. I will call you or text me your address, brother.
I'm pretty sure that was on a PK charcoal grill too.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that was an incredible one. So congratulations, Papa, and thank you, Malcolm. But back to the Buck Junkies. It's you and the boys. So you, Mark, Jamie, Mikey, sitting around, talking hunting, and I love it because you're going in depth. You're not just talking hunting. You're talking land management, herd management, multi-species. Obviously, it's turkey season or the end of turkey season now. You've been traveling around with different hunts, Texas and up north for the bison and all that. You guys just obviously it's what you're talking about normally with your buddies. You just go, hey, let's hit record and see what we can come up with, or
that was the exact concept. We it kind of started a lot like my barbecue career did. Rochelle gets sick of me just talking about its subject all the time and says, hey, you got to figure out something to do with this. If you're going to keep talking about it that much and just get infatuated with it, you got to figure out a way to share it with people. And so I was like, we were already doing a podcast, and we were hunting down on the property anyway. We said, man, let's just do it. There's a lot of great hunting stuff out there with professionals that really, show a lot of hunts and show a lot of killing animals, but there's not anything for the regular guy that might just have, a small lease or maybe even just hunting private, government land or wherever you get to hunt, but just doing it from a real rookie standpoint of what we're doing is we're kind of, as we go on our journey, we're sharing what we're doing and trying to grow from it and trying to we listen to our, the people that comment back or the experts that we have come on as guests, the biologists we work with, all that goes into it, man. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, besides, I love barbecue. That's the first and foremost important thing in my life, business, work wise. But from a fun standpoint, I love to hunt and fish. And so it just made sense. And a lot of the people that share my passion about barbecue also hunt and fish. So it just kind of went hand in hand with it. And we've been having so much fun doing the Buck Junkies thing because it's a blast.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I'm learning so much about it. Is like the burning process.
Oh yeah, prescribed burn.
The control burn and the you got to be ready because they kind of tell you when, because you have to schedule it because the weather's got to be right.
Exactly.
It's in the right direction and less speed. So to take any risks, minimize any risks of, stuff getting out of control. But there's so much info in it, with like you guys planting the feed plots.
Yeah. And, we do year-round food plots. We're planting in the spring and we're planting in the fall, and we're doing everything that comes along with it. It's, for some non-farmers, it's pretty challenging.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, you guys sound like, you're having fun with it. You're enjoying it. And, it's more so on the nature side as the hunting aspect of it
Right.
too.
There's, I think hunting gets a bad rap a lot of times, and it's so much more to it than pulling a trigger at an animal. There's so much more to it, and for me, that was what was important. Being a steward of the land, taking care of the habitat. That's what makes that's what makes you have more animals or have more success hunting, is building that habitat so those animals want to live and want to thrive there. And it's not about killing them. It's about taking the ones that we need to take to make sure the herd stays healthy. And then we use every bit of the meat that we do take. We're real big on cooking. That's another big thing. We were already doing cooking content. So we said, well, let's show people what we cook at deer camp. And so we started doing a lot of those recipes on that channel, man. And it's, it gets us, they're not always on the grill. A lot of the stuff we cook on the stovetop, cook in the oven, deep fry, however we cook it. So it kind of lets me expand my, little culinary journey that I'm on into some other realms, and lets me have some fun, still in the kitchen or still outside cooking.
Yeah, they're incredible videos. Because they're once again they're hunting camp videos. Yeah. So they're hunting camp recipes. So
right.
It's a lot of simple recipes, but packed with flavor. And from the simple quesos to Mark's biscuits and gravies. The gravy king himself.
This is what guys eat when we're all hanging out. That's the kind of stuff we're cooking, man. Some of it might get out of the box a little bit. It's not always, ribeye steaks and ribs and brisket. We eat Vienna sausages too. We eat cheese dip.
Yep. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you have a Facebook page along with the Buck Junkies and all types of stuff. I actually had posted a video a couple weeks back of a bunch of turkeys right outside the door of my mail truck.
Oh.
I had posted, I go, these jokers ain't afraid of nothing. They're literally less than 10 feet away from the open door of me sitting in my truck. Yeah. They aren't up here. They're not afraid of anything.
Oh, it sounds like I need to come to New Hampshire.
Oh, brother. At one point last year, there was a flock of 20 just walking the street of one of my streets I deliver. They're just going, crossing back and forth. But yeah, they don't care, those jokers. And they sit there, they blow up. And man, some of them have beards. It's like, ooh, you look good on the wall, son.
And in that grease too. I love deep fried turkey.
Yeah. But for both podcasts, you have great community pages. You guys do a fantastic job on all ends of your social media. And that's got to be a lot of work between the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. How do you choose kind of what you're going to do for each platform, like recipe wise?
So we sit down, we try to keep, running lists of video ideas that we'd like to put out throughout the year. That's kind of what keeps me on track. It keeps me kind of knowing ahead of what I need to be working on. If there's some recipes that I need to tweak or anything like that, but we sit down as a team and kind of go over a social schedule. And we've made a chart to where we've got every platform on it, what day we want to post, what we're going to post. And it's about staying on schedule. Just having a tight schedule makes it easy for me. It's not like we're just, making it up as we go. There's a lot of it it's actually been planned. And that's at first when it was just me and Shell, it was just kind of run and gun style. I'd wake up with the whim, we're going to cook this today. We're going to do it all the way through. We're going to put it out. But it got to be so it was so overwhelming, and we were trying to do so much that Shell realized quick that, hey, we got we got to start developing procedure for this. What's our plan going to be? What's it going to look like? How can we make it easier on ourselves? And that's just what we come up with. We come up with a way to do that.
Oh yeah, they're like I said, they're incredible videos. The way you guys approach it, the entertainment, the fun, the recipes, the cooking process. You bring it right down to a very everyday man or woman level. That you can go, man, I can probably do that. I could probably
Guarantee it.
cook that.
That's what I think is important too, to get that message across. None of the stuff that I can do is too hard for you to do. I mean, everybody can do it. If I can do it, I promise you can do it. Don't be scared. Just jump in there, and you don't even have to do it the exact same way. It's just look at it as a guideline to get you going, have fun with it, and experiment. And anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I'd like to touch on one of your hunts. Well, obviously up this area, I've seen a lot of moose in my life, between walking down the highways or in a field somewhere. I have never seen a bison up close and personal. Now, you were was it North Dakota?
North Dakota.
For that hunt?
Yes.
How big are these animals?
Beast. The juveniles are about anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 pounds. When they get up to the adult trophy size, which is a 10-plus-year-old animal, they're tipping 3,200 to 3,500 pounds. And you don't realize how big that is until you're up close to one. When I'm talking that their shoulders are over me and I'm, 6'1", and that's, this animal standing, and I didn't get that close to it alive. They're wild, they're unpredictable. An animal that big that can run 40 miles an hour, and I've seen one jump a 6-foot fence like it was nothing, just full stride, just go across it like it was. And I was like, holy cow, can you believe that animal just did that and covers so much ground so fast? It's incredible.
Oh, that's crazy. Stephen Pfeiffer, what's up, brother? Won't be long now, about 4 weeks till the Vermont competition. So I'm so excited you're coming up for it. We're going to have a time, brother. We're going to work on a menu for that potluck on Friday night. Yeah, the comp seasons are starting to kick off up here,
oh, yeah.
Malcolm. So we're getting excited. There's already been a few. But yeah, we'll be in full force. But Malcolm, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a true honor. And I've been hoping since I ever started this to someday be able to sit down and talk with you. And thank you for everything you've done for all of us in the barbecue, live fire, and cooking world, and on all aspects, the podcasts, the videos, the recipes, the product lines. My hat's off to you, sir. Thank you so much. Continued success. I can't wait to get my happy ass back down to Hernando again and, finally meet you in person.
We'll definitely sit down at La Siesta.
Well,
we'll have some big margarita, some tacos. But no, Johnny, I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. I love what you're doing. Thanks for everybody that's listening out there, man. I appreciate you guys. You don't know how much. And we're having a lot of fun doing what we do. And I promise you I'm going to keep doing it if y'all keep listening. And I'd love to do it again with you here, man. It's fun.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely set it up. And real quick, Tyler, fantastic gentleman. The communication between him and I has been fantastic. But I had asked him on one of the things. I go, you said in a previous podcast that you're from up in this area. I go, Boston. I grew up just outside of Boston. So how did you get mixed up with a Boston boy in Mississippi?
So his mother's from Boston, and that's where Tyler was born. And they ended up, I guess she ended up coming south. I don't know if it was with family or just to relocate. I think he told me she wanted to go to Florida, but they stopped in Memphis or Mississippi or something, and they ended up staying here. And so he ended up going to school and graduating here, starting a family, and that's where his mother ended up. She's in Florida now, so when he takes a vacation and we give him, that's usually where he's going, down there, Tampa area, I think it is. But yeah, he's a cool dude, man. I work with a bunch of young guys that really make my job easier, because if it was up to me and all the the technology and the way things change so fast, it's hard for us old guys to keep up with it. So we got to keep these young bucks around. But I'm teaching him about barbecue and the outdoors, and he's teaching us about technology. So it's a good trade.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, Papa, I got your text with the address. I will give that to Malcolm once we get off here.
Give me those addresses. I'm going to get y'all some nice little packages in the mail.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, once again, Malcolm, thank you. Like I said, being so generous with your time, the generous giveaway. I appreciate that. Wasn't expecting that. So complete surprise. So, thank you on that. And like I said, continued success, and, and until we can meet person to person, we'll definitely try to set something up at some point to continue the conversation. But, say hey, y'all, to all the boys at the shop for me, Mark and Mikey for sure, and like I said, thank them again for that time when we were coming in there. The two of them both, made a big time out of my kids, because they're kind of sitting there in the corner. Me and Mark are jabbering around about the comps and barbecue, and they're kind of like, and Mikey just made a big time out of them. They were, they left with bags. It's like, okay, yeah, but yeah, he made a time out of them. So, that's the other thing. You've surrounded yourself with some wonderful, great people. So continued success, brother. And, thank you again for everything you've done.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. This has been a blast, and we're definitely going to do it again, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Give me 1 second, Malcolm, and I'll jump right back with you. Well, guys, that was it. Mr. Malcom Reed, the man himself. That was an incredible conversation. I can't wait to go back and listen to it. I think the audio should be up within the next hour or so once I get it all loaded up. But thank you all for tuning in each and every week. I appreciate you. We're still growing, and it's all thanks to you guys. A quick thank you to you all for the reach outs, the phone calls, the texts, the emails, with the passing of our beloved Mac last week. We got him home on Friday, so he is back upstairs where he belongs, and our local vet and the company who handled his cremation above and beyond. But first off, thank you all for reaching out, checking in on us. Our boy and the other three, obviously Maggie just showed up here, and then the two puppies are still upstairs. But thank you all for your care, love, and support. I appreciate it. My entire family, Mrs. Mag does, Harley does, JJ, and Maggie, Maisie, and Mooch, and they got some big paws to fill, with my barbecue buddy being gone. So one of them's going to fill that spot, but we'll see which one it is. But thank you, Malcolm, for joining us this week. Next week, Memorial Day, we do have a show. My dear darling friend Jen Lee will be joining me to talk about the Texas Judging Association that she is spearheading of classes, information, and all that good stuff on the art of judging barbecue. So that's going to be an incredible conversation. And yeah, we'll see you there. Enjoy the holiday weekend with your friends and family. Be safe, and we will catch you on Monday. And until then, keep the smoke rolling.